I think we're live. Yes, we are. If you are, well, let me double check this. All right, now I think we are officially live. If you're just joining me for the first time, this is a 15 minutes on segment, the segment where I choose a topic and I spend exactly 15 minutes talking about the topic. So let me just cue up my timer here. All right, and we're off. Tom Brady versus Logan Paul. So, I wanted to choose this topic just because I have been following it roughly a little bit. And I guess anyone who's listening will give a little background, then we'll dive into my thoughts about everything that I've seen and even some more. I have some comments I'm going to read over from Reddit, actually. Not that I'm a Redditor, but I really need to get a drink. Let me hold on a second. All right, I have some tabs here on my computer. And this is an audio only segment, no video. Only reason I don't have video is that I don't have fast enough internet. Okay. Right, so the initial interaction was on Invest. And Tom Brady, I wish I could play the audio, but I tried out playing audio on a different podcast. Not podcast. I tried out playing audio on a different segment, and I'm pretty sure the audio got wiped due to copyright somehow. And it was crazy because it was just announcers doing commentary on a goal being scored in a soccer game on like ESPN FC, and it got copyright striked. So I think if I play Impulsive, that's probably going to risk the copyright. But the exchange was... All right, hold on. Tom Brady was like, "You're not on my level," to Logan Paul, which obviously is true in terms of being an successful NFL player. But then Logan Paul came back and he was like, "You can't do a flip off the top rope." And Tom Brady said, "That's cute. But we're talking about real sports." That's basically what the interaction was. And then Logan Paul came back to that and said, "I am the level. I was an all-state linebacker." And then he got eviscerated, if you want to say, on the internet for calling himself a linebacker. Then, like, also he said, "I rushed for whatever, like 2,000 yards, which would put him as like a running back, I guess." So I guess that made no sense, but I don't really know football that well. So to me, it really made no sense because in my head, I'm like, I mean, I'm thinking about it now. I played a lot of Madden and NFL 2K, so I kind of know how football works. But linebackers blocking for the quarterback. So there's really no plays where the quarterback is going to like hand off to the linebacker who's going to then like run behind the line of scrimmage and do like a reverse and just like run some sort of play. But I guess maybe Logan Paul misspoke there, which does happen quite a bit when you talk on the internet. You misspeak without even realizing you're doing it, and then when you go back and listen, you realize, oh wait, I just used like the totally wrong word there. I think he misspoke. But anyway, getting back to that back and forth. So when I heard that, shocker, unpopular take, I was totally on Logan Paul's side on this. But not because there's more subtlety to it than the average person might see. To me, the fact that he brought up his high school stats is ridiculous because Tom Brady is at least 2 levels beyond that, bypassing college and semi-pro. So Logan Paul's going down 2 steps to compare to Tom Brady, who's NFL. So NFL down to semi-pro, down to college, down to high school. And each sport has a different set of criteria to like how you advance through to like the pinnacle of whatever level you can get to. And I'm obviously the most familiar with soccer, but even then, the system in soccer in America is constantly changing and has always been constantly changing, which actually pre-internet made for like a basically impossible to understand how it like for me playing soccer, like I had a rough idea like okay, I just played in a match against a squad that was like third tier pro uh or like whatever, like the feeder league into the pro league. So it's like the term semi-pro wasn't as coined, but as the internet has become more and more popular, different phrases are coined, and obviously there's just more information surrounding it. So like I didn't even know what was going on really back in those days. And the average person just sees like the pro league. They're like, I want to get to the NFL, but then like there's obviously a whole infrastructure of like how you advance to it. But that's a whole nother video. And I don't know what the structure is in football. I guess baseball has like triple A, double A, single A. I'm I'm learning more about how hockey works as I watch a lot of the Missing Teeth podcast with Paul Bissonnette, whatever. What is it called? Spittin' Chicklets. And hockey's pretty similar to soccer, although the biggest difference is like you either go to juniors, I guess, and then from juniors you can transfer to NCAA. So you're like in your early 20s as like a sophomore in college. So like that's it's an interesting system. And then there's obviously different pro leagues, and NHL is like considered the pinnacle, whatnot, whatever. So Logan Paul is, I guess this is kind of relevant to talk about too, because Logan Paul's reaction to say I am the level in some ways, and this is the matches the name of his clothing brand, Maverick. He is a maverick because he has risen to like his first match in WWE was like lights out, like really impressive, which we haven't really seen the likes of. You know, I'm old, so I immediately think of 1-2-3 Kid versus Razor Ramon, and X Pac was able to do high flying stunts, and that was like his debut. So he just showed raw talent off rip in WWE, formerly known as WWF. But Logan Paul took that to a whole nother level when he did the flying frog splash off the top rope onto like a table. That was incredible. So in order to do that, you can't just be like any schmo walking down the street. And then Logan Paul says, I boxed Floyd Mayweather. That I don't really give him as much credit for, because Floyd Mayweather is like, I don't think he's 6 feet tall even. And yeah, he's really good at boxing, but I mean, I don't know. If I'm a huge, jacked, juiced up dude and I'm like decent at boxing, I feel like I wouldn't be that nervous to box against Floyd Mayweather. Like, what's the worst that could happen, you know? He just like cracks me in the face and I go down. All right. I'm a giant. I'll just push him off me the whole time, which is basically what happened. So he gets no credit for that. But I think the struggle there is that Logan Paul in that moment, and if it was real, and we'll get into real versus scripted and everything in a second, but in that moment, if it was real, Logan Paul was struggling to articulate his own athletic talents in a way, and his own physicality in a way that would live up to Tom Brady coming at you. And how could it? Because Tom Brady is the ultimate pinnacle of the American dream version of an athlete, being the quarterback, 7-time Super Bowl champion. So, like, what are you going to say to Tom Brady that's going to be like, let him respond with, like, you know what, you got me. Unless you're, say, I don't know, you got to at least be, like, pretty prolific as a winner in a pro sport, I guess. But and this is these debates that rage online about sports versus sports and what's the hardest sport. I think that the answer is that and ESPN even just put out a list of what Let me check my live stream. I doubt anyone's listening, but you always got to check to see. I don't think I can even see, like, yeah, I don't I don't have anyone in the chat. But comparing sports, personally, I think that hockey's got to be one of the hardest sports because there's so many different components. You can like chart it out of how you need to be able to move your body and to do all the different parts of ice skating that are necessary to be like even basic, like the basics, which is actually a similar, I'm discovering myself because I'm doing both, but, and I talk about this in my book, Soccer American Style Journey to the NCAA. You can find it on my website. You can find it somewhere online. You can just Google it for it. But I talk about in the book how, like, one of the biggest realizations I had playing college soccer when I got training from a former pro was like I came to the realization, and he guided us towards it, which is that like moving my limbs and my joints in a way that was standardized. And this is like basically what fundamentals is. If you can drill the fundamentals in to an extent so that they become something that is automated, so you become like a robot basically, but they're highly polished as well. So they become at the top level of efficiency. They're also something you never have to think about because it's automatic. So they're just like programmed in. And I talk about this, I think I call it standardization in the book. But where was I going with this? That trend is not unique. It's non-unique across different sports. So like for instance, all the different components to ice skating, you could just one-to-one map those to how you have to move your legs and lower body and upper body as well in soccer. And in football, there's also, across each position, there's different specialized set of skills and whatnot. So then you look at wrestling, pro wrestling, it's another craft, but I think you can take all these different sports as subcomponents and just sit, and I can easily see that Logan Paul is like on the level of Tom Brady in terms of an athlete. It's crazy to say he's not, which is why I believe Tom Brady was out of pocket. Now we have 3 minutes left. Tom Brady was out of pocket. Then they had the flag football game. Tom Brady once again threw the ball at Logan Paul's crotch when he wasn't ready. Again, out of pocket. Tom Brady's acting like a bitch, though. That's my fucking opinion. Now, I'm on Logan Paul's side. They had words at a press conference, too, with Kevin Hart and Drewski there. Kevin Hart broke it up, but Logan Paul was serious. He said, I'll fight you right now. Tom Brady's too old, I guess, to box Logan Paul. And people are speculating that this is all fake. It's Saudi branding to push the promotion of WWE, and they're going to clash in WWE at WrestleMania. Here we are on Reddit. Tom Brady shuts down Logan Paul after claiming he's the level of NFL stars, which I just gave my opinion that I believe Logan Paul is on the level of Tom Brady. And before the time runs out, something I really want to say, because I thought of it before I started the stream, is that for Tom Brady to prove to me that he's not like total like egomaniac who's like was out of pocket, this is what he'd have to do. Show up at WrestleMania and do a fucking backflip off the top rope to land on and pin Logan Paul. And then Logan Paul's got a kick out of that. I'm scripting the match. But if Tom Brady can do a backflip off the top rope in a full arena, perfect. Because he's not too old. And he's, what is he, like 50? Let me look up his age. Tom Brady age. I think he's like 50. He's 48. He's not too old. He better be learning how to do a backflip right now. Yeah, so here's the Reddit comments. This is just Saudi advertising. People need to stop feeding the trolls. There's no way he actually believes this. I don't know who that's directed towards. Here's a comment. Tom, you've got 7 rings. Why are you stooping to this level? Let's put some distance between you and this show called flag football shit show called flag football. Here's some guy commenting on Logan Paul. He's pretty athletic for a random person, but obviously no chance against most NFL players. Why is Brady promoting flag football like a boxing match? I don't see obviously no chance against most NFL players to me is not correct. And I'm going to tell you why too. And Jake Paul has proven it basically in boxing, where if you have athletic ability that's like pretty good. Let's say you were a standout, let's say you were like proven on some level of college sports, even if you're Logan Paul and you're like a state champion wrestler or whatever it is. You take that talent and you have top level training, and probably one-on-one training from a former pro, then yeah, you're going to get there. Logan Paul is definitely NFL status. Let's be serious. He just needs the training. He's got the physique and he's got like the athleticism. But 15 minutes are up, as you heard. The timer went off. I could obviously keep going on this for a bit. I think it's escalated. Let me see. I have one more article I can quote. Logan Paul issues apology, but that was a sarcastic apology. Yeah, they had a confrontation on the flag football field. Oh, here's the one I want to read. Do one more minute here. Tom Brady and Logan Paul on course for WrestleMania 42 clash. Brady on pro wrestling. All their stuff is so cute and scripted, and they know what's going on. I mean, true, but if you know anything about wrestling, it ain't all fake. And they do actually clip each other, sometimes on purpose. They're not all friends. And then Brady goes on to say, in a football game, you don't know, so they wouldn't get near me. If I had a good O-line, they'd be punching those guys in the neck, and they'd be crying, which is like a weird thing to say. Brady might have lost his mind. And we've seen this before where top-level superstar pro athletes get kind of like crazy, like Tiger Woods like doesn't have his shit together or didn't. Michael Jordan, he went crazy with gambling, right? Not to bring him into this. Yeah, but I think Brady was out of pocket. I believe Brady was serious too, or he is serious on some level. But they need to they're not gonna box because it's not a match. Logan Paul's not even good at boxing either. He could be good, but he couldn't finish off Dylan Dennis, which was weird because Dennis didn't even throw a punch, and Logan Paul couldn't just step up and just knock him out. I don't understand why he couldn't do that. Yeah, I guess maybe this on some level is all scripted or fake. I'm seeing pictures of them, and Logan Paul's like doing like wrestler stuff and like tipping his sunglasses down, holding the prime drink, and Brady's standing there kind of just like laughing. I don't know. Personally, I think a lot of superstar pro athletes are on their high horse. It's like, yeah, there's like freak athletic guys that when you see him in person, you're like, wow, this guy's an athletic freak. The average person's nowhere near this. Obviously, there are guys like that. But is Tom Brady one of them? No. Is Logan Paul one of them? He's probably more so than Brady. Anyway, that's the end of the stream. Thank you for listening. Let me find my little sound clip here. And more to come. If you want a specific 15-minute segment, write in the comments. Thanks for listening, and I will catch you next time.